Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bikinis After Babies. I am so excited for the 17th episode. I am one of your hosts, Mandy Rashawn, here with your other beautiful blonde host.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm one of your hosts, Gillian Hughes, and we have a very special guest on our show
Mm-hmm.
today. I am so excited to have her on. Our guest today is Jessica Miller. She is an IFBB Bikini Pro from Florida. She's a mother of two girls, ages 8 and 10, and she's been competing for 10 years. Jessica gives back to our industry regularly, working shows and seminars, and she helps others in her career as a posing coach and lifestyle coach. Jessica earned her IFBB Bikini Pro card in 2021 after several years on the national circuit, and now she is a regular on the IFBB Bikini stage. I'm so excited to have her on the show today. Welcome to Bikinis After Babies,
Yeah,
Jessica Miller.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Thanks for coming on. I mean, there's so many things I want to dive into today,
Mhm.
but I always kind of like to begin by having you share with our audience how it is you got started competing.
Ooh, that's a good one. I grew up basically, I lost my dad when I was very young, and the gym had always been a huge outlet for me. I played soccer, so that was huge. I ran track all the way up through college, and I ended up getting married very young and having a baby very young. And it didn't quite work out for me. So I figured right off the bat, coming out of a heartbroken relationship, that I was going to compete. And I was finally just going to do it. So 8 months postpartum, I stepped on stage and I fell in love with the sport.
That's incredible. 8 months postpartum.
Yes, I literally was still breastfeeding. So I'm not joking you. I literally was like, she can't eat right now until after I go on
I'll be
stage.
back.
Oh, that's
Oh my gosh.
incredible.
Do you think
I
it
was like,
was
I need them to be nice and full.
like, yeah.
They're
So it's
nice,
like you
full, and
don't know,
perky.
right? If you're brand
Yes.
new, you don't know like really any other experience. So you're probably just like, why can't I? Sure, no problem, right? That's
Right?
amazing. Did you kind of like use the prep to sort of like get yourself into like a really good routine, or did you stay really in shape during your pregnancy, or what was that like?
So I definitely use it as to get like, my body back, my confidence back for sure. So where I went to the gym, they had kid care. So I would bring my kids with me and they would stay in kids care and I would go do cardio and then come back, breastfeed, and then I would go lift. And I mean, it was routine. And, I fell in love with the whole journey, my body changing. Um, Posing was very different back then, but definitely fell in love with that part. Just about everything that came with it, I just, my passion just exploded for it. And I ended up um, I basically got qualified and I wanted to go to nationals. I ended up finding out that I was pregnant again. So I waited to compete again about 2 years after I had my second one this time, because I had such a little, I had like a 3-year-old, and then I had a baby. So I wanted to make sure the next time I did it, I was going to get on a national stage and get my pro card. But it did get a lot harder as the years went by. So it was definitely a journey for me, and it was one I will always cherish. And now looking back, I'm like, man, I wish I could kind of, I would have cherished it more back then.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that
Mhm.
like journey to the pro card, like took a look at all the shows that you had done, and it was just like qualifier, qualifier, pro qualifier. Like, when you're on that hunt for that pro card, it's so easy to just sort of like you're just on a mission and you don't always just like take it in and just go, wow, like it's so cool to be a part of it. But how many years on the national circuit did it take you to like eventually get your pro
I
card?
bel I think it was 4. So I kept going into these shows and I would win the overalls. I would win. And so I was like, okay, I'm ready for the national stage. And then I would go to the national stage and I would either be top six. I'd be in first call outs every time. I'd be in top six or top five. And the problem is, I just, for some reason, I couldn't get my quads down. I just
Mhm.
couldn't. And a lot of it I had to learn was also my posing. Um, so, I was with a very small town coach here. I wasn't with like a big name or anything. A lot of what I have learned was through my own experience and doing research myself and really listening to podcasts or YouTubes and watching, other pros or other amateurs and how they posed and what they were doing and trying them out on myself. So, um, it did take me a lot longer than what it probably does other people, but I'm so happy that it did because I learned so much through the process. And without that, I think just being told what to do, I wouldn't have learned as much as now I know because I actually went through it myself.
Yeah,
So was
absolutely.
that always the judges' feedback? So like always like you got top six, you're so close, and then when you get judges' feedback, it would always be like the quads and the posing, and you
Or
just
bigger
always
shoulders. It was always for me. I never had an upper body. I was soccer player and track runner all my life. So my
mhm,
legs were very dominant compared to my upper body. And so I definitely had to work for years to get my upper body proportionate. And
yeah.
so it definitely was a struggle for me, for sure. For sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I grew up playing soccer and I was a defender and I could sprint. So back a long time ago when bikini competitors were, skinnier and like you had to do all the sprinting and the high like the a lot of hit workouts. I'm like, "Oh, I can do that all day." And so it would always be like easy for me to do that. And it's funny looking back on it cuz when I was in school like you having big legs is like was a no. And now I'm like,
No.
"No, now look at it. This is awesome."
They made
Yeah.
fun of me. I mean, even the guys would like come up to me and be like, "Girl, you thick," or they'd be like, "Girl, your legs bigger than mine," and I'm like, "Is
Yeah.
this like a compliment or not?" Because I
Yeah.
don't know if it is.
I remember that it was like that in school too. Like if I wore like a denim skirt or like shorts, my legs were so much thicker from just like playing soccer, and I would have like these backhanded comments, and I'm like, okay. And so I like wasn't sure if it was good or bad, or I could never fit in the jeans. But now it's like, yeah, I win. I win
Yeah.
now.
You're like, what you gonna say now? I
Yeah,
wish I
right.
was in high school right now so I could look at y'all and go,
Oh,
"Wish you had it."
oh yeah, I can imagine.
Totally. So what do you think was like the thing that like tipped you over from like being in that like bridesmaid spot to like actually, becoming a pro? Like was it like you said doing your own research? Was there like a coaching change or like what was it? Cuz it feels like, when you finally got there, it was like you were a sure first place win.
Like, do you mean like winning my pro card?
Yeah.
Like rephrase that for me so I can
So, like going
explain.
into 2021, like, of course, we had a atypical year. I'm sure a lot of people that were maybe in 2019 thinking, okay, I didn't get it this year. Like, next year is going to be my year. Like, was there
Right.
something, in your training
I think
or,
it was just finally my time. Like, I think
yeah.
that I had gone through so many years where it was like, okay, I've literally fixed everything that the judges want to see. I think now getting a little personal. So I was in a very, very bad relationship for a long time. And I think I just was over it. And that person really hurt my ego, would say really terrible things to me. And I think I wanted to prove that person wrong so much to the point where I was like, okay, you say I can't, watch me. I ever since I was little, just the way I grew up, I think I thrive off of people who don't believe in me. And that might not be the best thing, but sometimes you can utilize that pain and really go after everything that you want.
Mhm.
And I had learned to do that. So I think that year I was like, oh, I'm going to be in your face about it. Like, I'm not going to stop. You say no to me, I'm going to show up again. Because at some point, you're going to be undeniable. Right. So I just believed in myself enough to say, you know what, girl, you got this. And I felt it on stage.
Oh, I just got
Oh my
chills
gosh,
you
that gives
saying
me
that.
chills.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
And anybody who's listening that has had that experience of coming so close and just feeling like, it isn't going to happen, you just have to believe that your time will come. And,
It,
some
it
people say
will.
all the time, like they knew it. Like, did you have that sense of like, this is it? Like, I've done everything I can do. It is my time. Like, did you know before they called your name?
That show, I knew it. I knew it. I woke up, I peaked perfectly. My makeup was done beautifully. Everything was just so smooth and on point. I I just I felt it in my soul.
Yeah.
I went on stage and I was not nervous at all. I was not nervous. I did not stumble. I knew at that point, I was like, this is it for me. Like, this is going to be it. I'm going to do this. And I think my first pro year, that same thing happened as show to show to show. I think I kept getting better and better and better until the end. I think it was my sixth show that I did. I did 6 shows that year, and I just kept moving up. And I think everything really is a learning experience, and again, you're also going to get in front of different judges that are subjective to your look. It just is what it is, and you've got to learn on your own who likes my look, how am I coming in. Are you going to come in harder, are you going to come in softer? For different judges, you got to kind of appear different. So I think learning that up to that point, I was like, okay, this is my time.
it's
So
like you said, it's
interesting.
like doing as much as you did, like learning it yourself, doing your own research, figuring it out yourself. Like if somebody gave you those answers and somebody told you what to do you think you'd be as like good as you are now and as like polished as you are now and have all the experience, going through that grind, you just get so much out of it. And it's like, yeah, there's like some blood, sweat, and tears that go into it, but like what you learn is just like you said, it's undeniable. Like you gain so much out of it.
Yeah, it tastes so much better. And you never understand. You always question, why isn't this happening for me? Or why is this happening to me, right? And the thing is, I am a high believer in the Lord, and I will tell you, he's either trying to redirect you or he's protecting you. So, you know, I do believe that if it's meant to be and it's your time, then it will. And if it's not, then there is other reasons as to why. You just haven't found out yet.
So true. I love that.
Yeah.
So, I want to go back to something that you said because this is, something that we understand pretty well. Mandy and I, having been in the sport for a while, but for some of our newer competitors that are listening into the podcast, can you explain from a pro's perspective what it means by maybe being in front of a panel of judges that like your look? I think that's really hard for people to sort of grasp. Like we understand it, like it is what it is. We know it's subjective sport. We understand how the scoring works, but like if you could sort of talk about that a little bit to give our listeners some context.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as your physique changes, right? I will say, as your physique changes, each prep is going to change for you. The way you look on stage is going to change for you. So, you're going to have some judges who like a dark hair look. They like that dark hair and they like a more muscular, dense, harder look. Then you're going to have some that like a softer look, which is, not as much muscle. And then you're gonna have, most of the judges do like conditioning. If your conditioning is off right off the bat, most of them are, they're not gonna be okay with that. This is bodybuilding. So, but at the end of the day, you do have to figure out, do are they gonna go for that blonde look with the softer look and not as much muscle, or are they looking for that dark horse with more muscle and a harder look? And I also think, it really depends on who is winning the Olympia and the Arnold, setting the standard each year. That sets the standard. Now, obviously, Tyler Mannion goes over what they want to see. That's, we know that. But regardless, you're still going to have judges who have a specific look that they like over other looks. So you do have to figure that out for yourself on who seems to like your look better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It makes our sport so exciting, and because you just never know who's going to win. But for people who are like, they want to predict the outcome, like they probably just need to pick a different sport for themselves because you just can't,
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important to like lean into what you said about like really enjoying the journey and the experience and like taking a lot from it, because you can't always guarantee the outcome. You don't always win. You don't take home the pro card every single time you try. And so you're going to miss out on all the lessons and all the growth if you're just focused on winning. Because I mean, I'll have clients that are brand new and like, I'm very competitive. I like have to win. I'm like, you might want to pick something else because I can't guarantee. I mean, everybody brings it. Everybody's bringing their best, and you just don't know. So,
Yep.
but for
And
girls who've been in a
and
long time,
it could be the smallest thing, what people don't really realize. It could be your tan is off that day. It could be that your makeup artist didn't do your makeup correctly to match your tan, right? It could be that your you accidentally dropped your food on the floor. It could be that you didn't have enough time to pump up. I mean, it is literally, there is so many factors to how you show up on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the things that people don't really understand unless you do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Yeah, and that definitely goes into posing as well too.
Yes,
Like
that was what I was
practice.
going to segue into next. Is posing.
I was like, oh, this goes right into posing because I feel like, so many of our clients, again, new clients, and then even experienced clients that have been on the stage multiple times, like the biggest struggle they have is posing. People can go to the gym, you get in the habit of meal prepping and like your nutrition, but when it comes to like posing, it just seems like for some reason it is so hard to put on that heels and practice at home or practice at the gym or record yourself or watch yourself do it. So what advice would you give to new competitors or seasoned competitors to help them with posing?
well, I'll tell you guys the same thing that I tell my posing clients, right? You need to start early because posing is an illusion to the judges. I have seen multiple people not have the best physique and win because of their posing. So,
Yeah.
um, I think a lot of girls go, "Oh yeah, I wear heels all the time." It's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. So walking in the heels, how you're, transitioning with your hands and your feet, and are you smiling? Is your face off? Is your uh, it's literally performing and dancing on stage. And so I would say just walking in your shoes is huge. So making sure, 3 months prior to your show, 4 months prior, you're breaking in your shoes because they're not always the most comfortable. And again, as we, on stage day, we're oiled up, our feet are slipping, we're tanned. As we lose weight, it's so crazy. I lose it in my feet too.
I do
I
too.
don't know if you guys do, but I do too.
My
Yeah.
my
And
rings are loose, like everything.
yeah.
Yes, my
So
shoes
things you
crazy.
don't really think about, right?
Yeah.
So you want to do as much as you can prior to that stage day so you're already ready. So what I tell a lot of my clients and what I'll have them do is get your jewelry, put on your jewelry, put your hair down, get on a bikini, walk in your shoes, act like it's stage day, because if you do not and you don't throw that sass, they don't think about, oh, I have to throw my hair back so it's not stuck on my triceps, and so that they can see my body correctly, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, when I'm turning, or when I'm walking out, I have to put my hair off my shoulder. It's those little things that you're not thinking, oh, my earrings are dangled so it can't get stuck in my hair. It's all the little things.
Yeah.
And then when I make them do it, they go, oh my goodness. And I said, yes. So we don't want that to happen on stage day, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that you know what to do if that does.
Yeah.
For
And to
sure.
feel that comfortable on stage to like move if
Yeah,
something happens. Because what if your hair, like, even though you practice and practice, what
keep
if your hair
going.
it falls? And like, if you're so nervous and so stiff, like, you're not going to be like, oh, I need to move that. But if you do that, like that fluidity, it's like, it's natural. And the judges like look at it naturally instead of like robotic. Or you
Yes.
forget to, and it hides your, like, imagine like, okay, you work so hard and because you're so stiff, you forget to do that. Something so minor could like be
Yep.
such a big deal.
Such a big deal. And on top of it, a lot of new athletes, you tend to kind of go blank and you freeze sometimes. So if you've done it enough, it becomes routine on stage, and if you do black out, you still end up doing your routine without even thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's now routine to you. So on stage, no matter what, you're like, oh, I just hit that and I didn't even understand that I hit that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good thing. You got to be a robot, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You see
Walk
those
down the
photos
other
and you're
side
like,
and
oh,
you're
I
like,
did do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you watch your video and you're like, I don't even remember that happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like,
Yep.
I'm done already. Well, I have always loved watching all of your posing. Like, I have several of your posing videos saved that I like will like use for inspiration. And I think like my favorite thing about watching you pose is you just look like you're having the time of your life. And what a
Thank you.
lot of moms really struggle with is to be able to like embody that, because it's so different than what they're doing the rest of their life. They have this one show day where they get to like be so glammed up, and maybe they haven't, had that experience in such a long time. So how do you help somebody get into that? And then maybe like some tips on like how you get yourself into that, like, that groove of just really having so much fun up there.
Honestly, I'll have my clients put on music sometimes because they will be so stiff that I'm like, what's your favorite song? And I put it on and I'm like, now, I'm very, I'm a very positive aura. I am all about fun and laughing, and I think that is what life is about.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not having fun up on that stage, I promise you those judges are going to see it. If you're not bringing your style and your personality to stage, and you're bringing mine or somebody else's, those judges are going to see it. So if you're a bubbly person, bring the bubbly personality to stage. Don't bring a sexy personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sexy, bring a sexy personality, but also you need to tame it a little, because they do like the girl next door, right? We're not dancers, if you know what I mean, in that way,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
do.
um so what I mean is, it's really important to know your clients and know how their personality is. So I genuinely try to get to know my clients first. So I'll put on a song and I'm like, ooh, they're not comfortable, so let's put on like a country song instead. And I get their, I have to teach them, use your hips. This is like dancing. You are performing. You need to be comfortable. And again, if they are not a sexy person, I'm not going to try to make them do sexy transitions. I'm not going to try to, make them be somebody they're not. I want them to be themselves on stage so that the judges, they can make eye contact and really stand out to the judges.
Mm-hmm. That's so
Yeah.
well said. I can fully relate to that. I used to try to be sexy. I tried so hard. I did. I was like, I have to be sexy. I don't, Jillian, I've never told you that, but I did. I
No,
used
you
to think
haven't.
I had to be so sexy, and I would try this sexy, like the whole thing. Like I did 100%. If you cannot tell, my personality is absolutely not that.
Did you just
So
get like really pissed off? Because like I've seen that
I
before, where someone's like, they look mad because they're trying
I
to be like
couldn't not
sexy.
smile. I tried to make like cuz I always smile, and I tried to make that sexy, and like my movement and my hip movements and the music and my hand transition, and I was always so uncomfortable, like always. And that's actually probably why I never practiced posing near as much as I should have in my early season. And then like now I love it more than anything because I embrace it. But I think how you explained it is so well for people to understand. Be yourself on stage, because if you
Yes.
try to be somebody you're not, then the judges are going to see that. And I sometimes see this backstage going on stage, is where girls will try so hard to have completely different hair colors, wigs, different, like be a whole different person because they think it's fun or it looks cool. But what happens is you might be so uncomfortable, you're not going to like feel good. And the whole thing is like you have a whole day where you can be like a princess and be yourself and like embody like who you are and present that on stage. But I love I love how you explain that so well. And using the music is a great idea. That's super smart.
Yes, it definitely helps, especially clients who have never walked in heels before.
Yeah. Warming them up and just getting used to it for sure. Yeah, and I love how you said that you're just like you believe in positive energy, and that's another thing that's like every time I've encountered, like I've run into at shows and whatnot, and you're always smiling, you're always upbeat. Is that like something that has just been who you are always, or like, and certainly, everyone's gone through stuff in their life and gone through adversity. Like, how do you stay in that positive mind frame? Because I think it's so important in success.
Whew, I have had to work at it. I think if it wasn't for me getting into, like, let's be real, toxic relationships, I think I would have been that way all the time. I tend to love, and I tend to love the wrong people. So I have learned that through staying in those type of relationships that um, if somebody doesn't bring a positive into my life, then they are not meant to be there. And so I have had to fight all my life to because being a mom, as you guys know, it's a very stressful, chaotic thing to wake up to every day. It's very anxiety ridden. But I started to change my mindset around. I started to, when I start to feel like I am getting anxious, I will turn on a song and I will dance with my kids. We do dance mornings and it's a dance party and we'll do it for a whole song. And it's so amazing because I'll sit back now and I'm trying not to cry. But like I'll see my kids' personality change and then they're not so chaotic. They're calm. They're calmer. And I think how we how we take things and react to them is huge. So if your children are not, your children act out through environment, through watching you. So if you engage with them in a different way, they're going to engage back with you in a different way, and they're going to learn how to react to things differently. And the reason I say this is because my 10-year-old is ADHD and she also was ODD. Now that's environmental. She can grow out of that. That's a defiant disorder. And so she has done a lot better. I'd say the last 4 months, again, we wake up and we start, there's three things every night before bed that I ask her what she loves about herself, and they can be physical or not physical, right? So I ask her those three things. We talk about those. And then in the morning, we go over the same thing. What are three things that you love about yourself this morning? And I think those have really helped her. I've done a lot of research and reading and trying to figure out how to take somebody from being so anxious, like a little girl who's 10, to not so anxious and calming her. And a lot of the times, what we don't realize is they just need love. They need to feel safe. So I I think, what would I want? Even as an adult, what would I want? I want to feel safe. I want to feel loved. So being positive is easy for me because that's what I want. So I'm going to smile at somebody in the gym and not be mean. Regardless if a girl's giving me a dirty look because I'm wearing a sports bra and shorts, I'm going to smile at them. And it's funny because most days those people will come up to me and be like, there's just this positive era, like aura around you. And you're so intimidating, but in the greatest way, like, and they're like, you're so nice. And I'm like, I feel like that's how I'd want somebody else to treat me. So I'm going to treat them that way.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
I love
That
that.
is like, because you probably are helping so many people and you don't even know is what's amazing. Like there's probably people at the gym that see you smile and they're like, you probably motivate them and you help them go and they feel comfortable. You're putting that environment out there, and like you said, like that's what you want, so you give that back to your kids and like you give that to your environment and like your space, and it's so beautiful. And I love that for your kids. That's absolutely amazing. I think about raising Carson and, my son being 14, it's like he's go go go. He plays club soccer. He's been a soccer player since he could kick a ball.
Go
But yeah,
soccer.
yeah, he's a good soccer player. He's a sprinter. But it's interesting you say like how the environment that you give them, because like I've seen my son like build up anxiety and I can see it, and I'm just like, what would I want in this moment? And it will be something so little, like but you can see it, you can see the
Oh yeah.
wheels turning. And it's just, I have this motto to where for my child, like I want to be so reliable that I'm boring. So I, ever since I have been like had Carson and raised him, I want him to always know that I will be there. Like
Yep.
it's not even like, you don't even think about it. Like if you have something or need something or want something, it's just like, mom, because I'm so reliable that it's just boring. And he actually told me like a month ago that I'm boring, and I was like, oh, that's
Yes.
the best.
I love
I
it.
was so excited when he told me. I was like, you don't understand. Like that's like the best compliment, because I'm giving this environment to this child so he can nurture. And that's so beautiful that you take the time to do that for your kids.
That's structure. And what people don't realize is, kids are not free to just do whatever they want. They need structure. Kids need structure. And that is how they're going to be responsible and reliable as they continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I think like our own structure provides us with more freedom to be able to give of ourselves to them. And I say this all the time that like, because, I got my workouts done, I don't have to think about my food. Like I'm meal prepped. Like my lifestyle as a bodybuilder is actually really simple. And so that I have more energy to use for my children. And I'm not like thinking about, oh, I'm behind, I have to catch up and do extra cardio. Like I'm on target. I know what I need to do. Like I'm scheduled and I don't really have to think about it. So I think there's an opposite perception of our lifestyle, that it's like so high maintenance, so much work. But for moms who are doing the sport and crushing it like yourself, like that structure is just a part of who we are. And, we're able to, give to our families, and, we're not really spending all of our time on ourselves. Like we have very dedicated time to the gym, but everybody's taken care of because, we have our structure that helps us to run, things smoothly.
Oh, you can find me 3 places, right? The gym, the grocery store, or at my house.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Right. I'm like,
Yeah.
anybody who knows me, they already know where I'm at.
I know. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of a juicy topic. So tell me a little bit about what it's like dating and being a mom and being a professional athlete and juggling a career. Like you've got a lot on your plate. So what has that sort of experience been like for you?
Well, I had a 7-year engagement. I had a fiance, and he basically helped raise my youngest, so he was there throughout them growing up. It got too much for him. What I'm realizing is it is very hard to date as a bikini pro. Just competing itself, really. You have to find somebody who is very secure with who you are and who they are. And there is one thing I will definitely say that I have learned is I will not change what I'm passionate about and who I am for any man. I will not do it. I have tried. It makes me very unhappy. And I don't think it's fair. I think there are certain things that you can change about yourself in the relationship as long as they change as well and you can grow together. But I don't think you should have to change everything about yourself to please somebody else, especially when it's something that you're passionate about. So dating, I, you know, nowadays, let's just say it. This is the best way I could say it. Nowadays, people like to be with other people very easily, right? In this generation, I'm a very old soul. I am not that way. And I have purposely not been with very many people. And I am proud to say that. And I have tried to make relationships work, I think, because I do have, 2 kids and I don't want to bring in multiple people in my kids' lives. So right now I'm definitely just worrying about my kids and not dating. I did have another failed relationship after I left my abusive relationship 2 years ago, and that is okay. I realized really fast, I think men on the outside, and this is just me speaking from my experience, they see a very beautiful woman and we're like a trophy, right? It's amazing. They forget to polish the trophy. And the issues is that trophy is always going to be a trophy, right? So I think what tends to happen is they want you to change. They think that, especially as a pro athlete for me, like my goal is to get to the Olympia and I'm not going to stop till I do. So I don't think that they realize how much that takes. I mean, your life is robotic, it's structured. And if you are not somebody who can deal with that, then you definitely should not be with a pro athlete. Absolutely not. Um, because I'm not somebody who's going to go out drinking. I'm not somebody who's going to skip the gym to go out on your boat. I'm just not. I'm going to go to the gym and then we can go out on the boat. So what I found with my last relationship, I feel like um, they tend to get jealous because you start climbing, right? They start seeing you peak and they want to pull you back down and change you so that you're not up here. And I just think that I haven't found my person yet. I just haven't, and that's okay. That is okay.
Yeah.
I know that God's timing will be right for me when it's right, and I won't have to second guess that I'm somebody's person. So I want to show that to my kids because it was really heartbreaking going through what I just went through. Yet again, I just feel like men have a hard time. They have a hard time being loyal, and that is okay, but not when it comes to what I want in my life. And if
So
you're
with
not ready, then you should just move along.
mhm.
My two little girls are watching everything, and I know that they want me happy, but I also want them to see what true love is.
Mhm.
So that's very important to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're always watching. That's like you can go through so much, but the decisions that you make and from how you explain everything is you're making all those decisions while your little girls are watching you be like the best version of you and not compromising who you are. And just because there's another person, another human being that's like has, beats you down or has expectations or has like these like lower expectations, like they want you to have, kind of demean yourself, to like
Yeah,
to make yourself less than. But you show your girls, you're like, no, that's not what you do. That's not how you do it. You deserve to be with somebody that truly loves you for who you are and for the work that you want to put into this one life that we all live. And like you're showing them that. So that person is out there for you. It is
yeah,
hard. Like I've been with my husband for 10 years and we've been married. Yeah, we've
girl.
been married for 8. But I will say I feel like the reason a lot of this we've had, success is because you've kind of touched on it a little bit. I feel like it's very hard when like you want to be a pro athlete, like that, and the work that goes into that is very different from like, okay, from amateur to like nationals, and then from nationals you're like, no, I know what I want, and the grind that goes into that. I feel like the reason my husband and I kind of complement each other is because he does the same thing with his own business. So
Okay,
yeah, he has his own business and his own thing. So it's like if I support that, he supports me and we can kind of complement each other. And it like we've been able to thrive that way. And like the jealousy thing is fascinating to me because he has always respected my gym going. He's always gone to the gym. He's always known about competitors, so he's always understood it. But when we got married and the photo shoots and the sports bras and the tight, he's always like, "No, that's my wife. This is what she does. This is her business. This is what she does for work." But the
that's
other guy,
amazing.
but like his friends would be like, "I could never," and he's like, "No, this is just what she does. Like, this is just it." And it's like, it's been like that our entire relationship, and
That's
I
amazing.
can Thank you. I can only imagine though, like dating somebody and having to go through that and not going to the bars and not going drinking. Like I have clients that are lifestyle clients and I coach them through like this is how you go on dates, like you're fine, it's okay. And they love it, they learn. But it's like, no, if you want to be at this is what time I go to bed, this is what time I go to the gym, this is my kids, this is this.
Yes,
It's like
that's
they
what I
have
have to do. And as a single mom, you know, I don't think that the relationship I was just in, I don't think he understood how much time and effort it really took. And, you know, I also think him not having kids, he didn't understand how much comes with kids, right? And again, that's okay. That is okay. But I truly know now that I will never allow somebody to demean me ever again or make me feel bad about being a pro athlete. I think that's what did it for me. Somebody questioning, well, what did even getting your pro card do for you? What does even being a pro athlete do for you? That's just ridiculous. Like, it didn't even take anything to get there. And I was like, I'm sorry.
oh my gosh.
What?
What?
So, and the craziest thing is, this person was with me for a full year watching me do it, you know? So, and it's fine, but again, I think you have to meet your match where their energy is the same as your energy, communication is open, they're not more alpha than you are, and I will say I am very much so an alpha, but I have to be because of my
Yeah.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all a
And
lot alike in this sport, especially,
Mm-hmm.
having kids and then juggling as much as you do. Like, you just have to be. You really can't be feeble and have somebody who's picking up the slack for you all the time. Like, you will not get anywhere, and that's
no,
a big
Mm-hmm.
personality that it takes a really confident man to be able to, you know, I not want to say like rise above, but I do like believe in those like feminine and masculine relationships. Like, I can really do
Mm-hmm.
everything myself, but like I would like to have a man to like do the manly things, but I can also do the manly things, and so that's a like, it's a tall order, but like that dynamic, like it can exist. And I dated between my like first marriage and my second marriage, I dated a competitor thinking like this is going to be great because like he'll understand the lifestyle. And it was just like we were like in a race all the time, like, who was doing more cardio and who was having better check-in. And it was like we were competing with one another, and it just like wasn't very positive. And he also like didn't have children, so he
see,
said the kids would
yeah.
hold me back from getting a pro card, and I was like, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Watch me do it anyway. So I was kind of like you, that I was just like, I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
I
know
think
I've never dated a competitor. That's what's funny. I think maybe that's my issue. I don't know. I've always dated people who don't really understand the industry. And I think maybe that is the issue. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you put your heart and soul into this, you gotta have a good support system. And I will not exclusively date anybody again until I know that that person is going to be my best friend and they're going to support who I am and what I do.
Mm-hmm.
just keep
You
that
know what's
bubble
gonna happen
small.
now, right? We're gonna put this podcast is gonna
Yeah.
air, and I swear to gosh, watch you're. I want to be invited to the wedding. Okay, listen, you're gonna meet some guy is gonna come on here and be like, "Hey, I'm your person," and you're gonna start dating him. And yes,
We're going to
it's
manifest it.
yeah, yes, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Leave a comment below if you're an
I love
eligible
it.
bachelor. If we're having a
Yes.
wedding, me and Mandy will like vet all these bachelors and make sure that they like meet all the criteria. This is gonna be great.
We'll
I'll
vet
just
them.
have you guys make a checklist for me.
I love it. You never know. We're like number 10 in Portugal.
Yeah, yeah, right? Oh, heck yeah.
We are all over the world. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Like, I wanted to kind of dive into it because I know there's so many women listening to this podcast who are just like searching for like that role model, like somebody they can really identify with. And I remember when I went through my divorce and I'm like competing and like trying to pay bills and like just trying to get my life together. And I was like just looking at all these women and just like, oh, she's got this. Like you can't help but kind of compare. It's so great to have these like leaders that are just like look at all the things that I'm doing, and like I've overcome X, Y, and Z. And, I just love when people can like really share who they really are. And like when we first started talking, before we even started recording, you were like, I just want to be really real. And we all want more of that, but it's so hard to be real because people can be like very critical. And I wish we could
Yeah.
shut them all up. And it's like one person will say something and you could have 90 amazing comments, but sometimes that negativity is really loud. So I think, that holds some people back. Have you ever like struggled with being like vulnerable and open and like dealing with
I have.
criticism?
I have, but I think I'm at the point in my life where I know who I am now. It's taken me a lot of heartbreak and hurt from these past relationships to really dig deep in myself and figure out what I will and will not allow in my life anymore, from friendships to relationships. t- I want to be happy, and I am finally happy, and I don't think that I need a man in order to be happy. I think, yes, it will make me feel more complete when I find my person, but I'm not looking for it anymore. And
Totally
I
respect
also
that.
think, judgmental wise, um, usually those people are the ones that are envious. And usually those people are the ones that are going through something. So even in the gym, when somebody say they're having a bad day or they're rude to me, right? I just smile. And I honestly, inside my head, I pray for them, because they're probably going through something that you don't understand. And usually the next day they will come in and be like, I am so sorry. And I'll be like, it's all good. Like, and they'll let me know what happened. And they're like, oh, you're so nice, and so what we don't understand is anybody can be a tough guy behind text messages and on social media, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, they probably don't love themselves. So that's sad, and I pray for them.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of looking at it. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, share with us what you're working towards and what your show plans are for this year.
So I only have two picked out right now. I'm 5 weeks out from Utah.
Yay!
Yee, so excited.
Exciting. So exciting.
It's supposed to be a really awesome
Is it
show.
the Wasatch Warriors?
Yes.
Wasatch.
Yeah.
Yes. Very hard for me to say,
Wasatch.
but it's an amazing show from what I hear. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
And then I am going to be going right into my second peak week doing the Girl Power show in Orlando.
And then
Oh, that'll
Olympia
be so exciting.
qualification and
Mm-hmm.
2024 Olympia, right?
I will not stop. I will
Yeah.
not stop. If I have to do 20 shows, bring it on. I'm not going to stop.
Love
So
it.
Oh, I can't wait. It feels like it's your time. And I'm just watching
it
you
is.
keep, growing and growing and just like climbing. And so I'm just so excited to see how this year pans out for you.
I appreciate you guys so much. And I think what's driving me even more is my beautiful girls. So.
Yes. I love
That's
it.
and I will say, like, I've never had the chance to compete without children. I've always competed with my son, and I've always loved it. It's been fun to like have him grow with me and learn and just like be a part of it. Like, he's learned how to respect women, he's learned women's
Yes.
bodies, he's learned healthy choices, he's learned how to eat. Like, it's just, and the structure, like all of it is just so great for kids, like, to be in it. And for having the little girls and they watch you and see how hard you work, and it's
My
just
kids can't wait. They've literally asked me like 15 times, Mom, when can we go to the gym with you? When can we go to the gym with you? When can we work out with you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to be a little older. But I honestly can't wait. I can't wait.
yeah,
So, and
Carson.
they
Yeah.
think
They'll
they
fall
think
in love
it's
with it.
like the coolest thing when I'm on stage. They literally are like, you are a princess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
That's
yes, I am.
awesome. Yes, you are.
We
I love
actually got
it.
my husband a shirt last show. It says trophy husband,
I
trophy hubs. Yeah, yeah.
love it.
Oh, I love it. Well, I do like to ask all of our guests if you have a piece of advice that you could give to other women that are on their journey of competing and trying to just figure out how to fit it all in. What is like your top tip for just juggling it all?
Ooh, you gotta, I mean, for me, it's every night I sit down and I figure out how my day's gonna be the next day. It's really making sure every Sunday I'm meal prepped for the entire week. It's really keeping to a schedule because I realize that if I don't sit down and schedule things out, if my mind is a mess, then my entire life is a mess. So making sure that you are prepared to dig deep because it's going to be your life at that point. I mean, you need to put everything that you have into your prep or you're not ready. Knowing that life is still going to happen while you're in prep. And in fact, usually it happens like 3 times worse. Everything that happens.
Yeah.
So, it's really dealing with those things. Okay. I mean, your kid's sick. Guess what? You got to go pick up your kid and finish your workout at home. I don't know what to tell you. I have softball for my kid tonight. And so, yeah, my last cardio is going to be at 9 o'clock at night. Sucks. But guess what? I'm going to do it because
Do
it's
it.
got to get done. So, it's those things that are going to structure you to really succeed while going through prep. And then when you're on stage, it'll taste that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you did all of it, yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we have learned so much from you today. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anybody that you would like to mention or thank before we close out this episode?
Yeah, I actually started a new training program with an amazing coach, Corey Linder. He's amazing, absolutely incredible. He has implemented lower body for me like 5 times a week, and I hate you, but I love you all at the same time. It's
Remember,
done
it'll be
amazing.
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also David Damasquez, he's amazing. He's my coach. He does all my nutrition, my check-ins with me every week. He's been an amazing friend with me. He's stuck with me through a lot of the ups and downs with relationships as well and kids. My sponsors are Pelican Meals. They sponsor me for meals. Sunset Swimwear. She does all my suits, all that glitters gems. She's my heel and jewelry sponsor. Camp Muscle, they are active wear that I model for them. They're an amazing people. They are just incredible company. And so I'm so thankful to have all of these people in my corner. I can't be, you know, more blessed to have these people believing in me. So those people, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much for being on here today. All your information that you shared is going to help so many people. And it was so great to hear your stories. And I know we're all these states away, obviously, but I feel your aura. I feel your
I do
energy.
too. I have a
Thank you.
cheek ache from smiling too.
I know.
My
I
heart is
That's
so
so
happy
fun.
right now.
I love it. And I can't wait to meet you, girl.
Yes. Yeah. We can like so many days.
We're going to have to take a selfie. It's going to
Uh,
happen.
Yeah,
mhm.
I won't
We'll
be
have
there.
to.
You guys have to just have me there in spirit.
With her
Yeah.
trophy. With her,
Yeah.
because we're manifesting right
Yeah.
We
now.
are manifesting. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. And also, this will be my first time competing in Masters. So, yeah.
Oh, I will be competing in Masters this year too.
Ooh, it'll be so
Welcome.
exciting.
Welcome, everybody. I've been
Right?
here for 7 years already.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
I love it.
I just do them
I
all.
love it.
35, 40, open, whatever.
I love it.
Well, again, thank you so much, Jessica, for being on. And also, any of your social media, we'll make sure to have it in the description notes so everybody can follow your journey, see your show, see how you get to Olympia this year. Again,
Yay.
manifesting it. You're going to do
That's
it.
right.
That's
I am.
Yeah. So, thank you so much
Awesome.
again.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.